In light of the Julius Randle news, I'm going to tell you the one key player that has to step up for the New York Knicks. All that and much more on the Knicks Digest. What's up, guys? It's your boy Dariel from Knicks Digest. And the Knicks just finished beating the Sacramento Kings by the score of 120 to 109. And I'm going to get into the whole Julius Randle news a little bit later in this video because I wasn't able to give my take on it when the news broke earlier today from Woj, I believe. But focusing in on this game, Jalen Brunson had a great game with 35 points, shooting 12 of 20 from the field, 2 of 5 from three-point, converting 9 of his 10 free throws. Josh Hart had another amazing game with 31 points, converting 14 of his 19 field goals, 3 of 4 from free throws. He ended the game with 9 rebounds and 8 assists, so pretty close to another triple-double. Donte DiVincenzo, 21 points with 5 rebounds and 1 assist, converting 6 of 13 from the field, 5 of 9 from three-point, and 4 of 5 of his free throws. So the Nova boys, they definitely came to play, and with the news of Julius Randle being out for the remainder of the season, the responsibility is going to be put on the Nova boys. Donte, Josh Hart, and Jalen Brunson. Obviously, Jalen Brunson is going to be the leader of that group, but Donte DiVincenzo and Josh Hart, they're going to have to elevate their game going into the playoffs. But as far as tonight, I really liked what I saw from the New York Knicks. I keep harping on the news of Julius Randle on him deciding to go with the season-ending surgery. And as far as that news, that was pretty big news throughout the NBA. So then having to play a game just a few hours later, I just like the competitiveness that I saw from the New York Knicks. They were down at a point, and I thought that they were actually going to get blown out. I believe they were down by maybe like 15 to 18 points, somewhere around that range. And I was a little worried it was going to be a blowout. But next thing you know, they're fighting. They're clawing their way back. They tied it up. And then we ended up taking the lead. And then we got the W. Deuce McBride in this game, 12 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, converting 4 of 13 from the field, 3 of 10 from three-point land, which isn't great. He is, like I keep saying in every video, he is aggressive in taking the shots. But at this point, with Julius Randle being out for the remainder of the season, we're kind of past the point of me being happy seeing Deuce McBride just taking the shots. Now we're at a point where we're going to need Deuce McBride to actually convert on his field goal attempts. Like him just being aggressive and surprising me and playing as if like he deserves to be on the floor, we're past that. Now it's time to Deuce. Yeah, show us that you deserve to be on the floor. But now that you're on the floor, like you have to convert because the amount of mistakes that we can make right now going into the playoffs and in the playoffs is not a lot. And we still don't know about the news about OG Anunoby. They're saying that they're going to wait until the playoffs to play him again. There's also conflicting reports saying that they might give him like a game or 2 or 3 going into the playoffs just to see how he feels. So we're not even sure if OG Anunoby is actually going to be ready to go by the playoffs. Mitchell Robinson came back. He missed last game because he tweaked his ankle, but tonight he looked a lot better than when I last saw him on Friday in San Antonio when Jalen Brunson dropped that 60 burger bowl. Mitchell Robinson was just laboring up and down the court, but tonight he just looked better. What I'm looking for from Mitch is just getting reps. Get in as many reps as you can, and please don't get hurt until the playoffs start because we need you. Now with Julius Randle being out, we're going to need you even more just to be that defensive anchor. So Mitchell Robinson tonight, I just like the way that he looked physically, getting up and down the court. It's a completely night and day from what I saw last Friday. Okay, I opened up the video telling you a key player that's going to have to step up in light of the Julius Randle news. Bogey Bogdanovic. Tonight, 12 points. He had 1 rebound, converting 5 of 7 from the field, 2 of 3 from three-point land. 12 points tonight. Cool. We got the win. So I'm not really like holding that stat line against him. Like, oh, he needs to have at least 20 points now that Julius Randle's out. But what I'm saying is, I like what I saw from Bogdanovic tonight. I like to see how aggressive he was in taking his shots. And as of late, Alec Burks and Bogdanovic, the 2 players that we targeted at the trade deadline, they aren't really looking that well. Bogdanovic has looked a little better than Alec Burks, but tonight, especially, I liked what I saw from Bogdanovic. And now that Randle's out, we're going to need as much offensive firepower as we can get from anybody. I'm talking about the Deuces. I'm talking about the Bogdanovic. I'm talking about the Precious. now that Julius Randle is out, everybody has to up their game a little bit more offensively, actually in every aspect of the game. But for right now, obviously the game of basketball, you need to put the ball in the bucket. So now that Julius Randle's out, now that the second head of the two-headed monster of Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle's out, everybody has to do a little bit more. Now, that's a little scary to say because some players aren't comfortable doing that. They're not used to it. They're used to playing their role. So when I say that everybody's going to have to do a little bit more, Josh Hart is capable of doing a little bit more. He has been showing us since Randle has been out. He's been going on a triple-double just bonanza. So we know that Josh Hart can do a little bit more. And even though he's not really asked of it, we know that he can do it, and we know that he's not afraid to do it. Dante DiVincenzo is another person that we're going to have to ask more of. I don't think he'll be uncomfortable, but we'll see when the playoffs come. But I have the utmost trust in Dante DiVincenzo, especially those three, Jalen, Josh Hart, and Dante DiVincenzo. I have the utmost confidence in them. But I'm talking about the Deuces, the Deuce McBrides of the world. They're going to have to be a little bit uncomfortable. Now that Julius Randle's out, they're going to have to take a little bit more of the responsibility and put it on their shoulders. And Bogdanovich is not different. Bogdanovich is capable of doing this. We've seen him throughout his career when he was with Indiana, Detroit. He had before he got traded to the Knicks. Like the team wasn't good, obviously, but we saw his offensive ability. So Bogdanovich, to me, is the player that's going to have to step up his game now that Randle is out with the shoulder surgery news. Now, does that look like Bogdanovich coming off the bench? Does that look like Bogdanovich being inserted into the starting lineup? I'm not sure exactly. We're going to see how Coach Tibbs plays this. Tonight he came off the bench. But moving forward, I'm going to keep an eye on Bogdanovich, and I'm going to make sure to see how he's kind of revving up, gearing towards the playoffs. Because if Bogdanovich is another player that we can add to the offensive prowess that we have from the Jalen Brunsons, the Josh Hart, the Dante DiVincenzos, it's just another weapon that we can add, and he has plenty of playoff experiences, so he shouldn't feel like he's not new to this. He shouldn't feel like he doesn't know what he's getting himself into. So now that I've said all that and I've talked about tonight's game, now I actually want to give my take about the Julius Randle news. So first and foremost, what popped out to me was when Chris Haynes was reporting, saying how Julius Randle 5 weeks ago, he was in his rehab routine and he actually messed it up a little bit more. And he said that kind of put him behind the 8 ball. So this whole time, Coach Tibbs was keeping that under wraps. And I get it. I understand. They wanted to keep it under wraps. They didn't want to let the public know. I guess they didn't want us to get freaked out. I don't know. But at the same time, like Coach Tibbs was leading us on, telling us that he's probably going to come back. We don't know exactly when. He's doing everything he can. But I mean, I found that a little bit. I found that a little disappointing that Coach Tibbs basically lied to our face. But as far as Randle, it's sad, man, because after the OG trade, the lineup where it was OG, Julius Randle, and Jalen Brunson, out of 12 games, they were 11-1. 11-1. Now, I'm not sure. I'm going to have to go back into the schedule and see what those 12 games were, because the level of competition, it could have been maybe one night Washington, one night San Antonio, one night Detroit, and maybe we might have had a back-to-back. So the 11-1 is a little bit of an asterisk to me until I do my research and see the teams that we played during that 12-game run. But it's just sad to see that Randle was having such a great year. It seemed like he finally was able to kind of admit to himself that this is Brunson's team and he's completely comfortable being second fiddle to Jalen Brunson. And I don't know, this whole season, you can tell that Randle was just like, he was a little bit more at ease. And I remember in the beginning of the year, like, I think there was like the first 2 weeks, Brunson and Randle, they were kind of off. And then after that, they were off to the races. And Randle was coming on strong. His offensive game looked a lot more calm, a lot more relaxed. Randle was just taking what the defense was giving him. He was making quicker decisions. And Randle really looked like he was putting it together, man. So I just feel super sorry for him. And Chris Haynes reporting, he did say that he spoke to Randle, and Randle said that he did everything possible that he could in order to try and return. But the second and third opinions that he was getting from these shoulder specialists, they were telling him that if he plays with the injury and he gets bumped a certain way, like the shoulder might not ever be the same. So, I mean, when you look at it from that standpoint, obviously you would say that Randle made the right decision. At the end of the day, we all need our health. So Julius Randle wants to keep playing for years on end, and obviously I think he made the right decision. And it sucks for us Knicks fans because, to my next point, the potential of what this season could have been, in my eyes, with a healthy Randle, with a healthy OG, a healthy Brunson, and obviously the rest of the team, I really thought we had a strong chance of making it to the Eastern Conference Finals, because Milwaukee is looking like a complete nightmare, losing to, I believe it was Washington, D.C., and I believe they lost to Memphis Grizzlies on back-to-back nights. And one of those games was the Memphis Grizzlies, and Milwaukee was at home. So I don't know what the hell is going on with Milwaukee. Doc Rivers, I think they're like 15-15 since Doc came back. I don't know what's going to happen with them in the playoffs. Maybe Dame and Giannis, they finally make it click, and in the playoffs, they just have a historical run. But it doesn't really look like that's going to happen. So you have Milwaukee, who looks like a nightmare. Philadelphia with Joel Embiid, who just came back, I believe, on Monday. Was his first game back in about 2 months after that knee surgery. So Joel Embiid is not going to be 100% in the playoffs. They're probably going to end up as a 7th seed or the 8th seed. So that means they're going to face Boston Celtics in the first round as an 8th seed. And if that happens, Philadelphia is going to get out of here because Boston is ridiculous of a team. Joel Embiid is not healthy. If they end up in the 7th seed and they play Milwaukee, that might be a little bit more of a tight series. I'll probably take, I don't know, I'll probably take Philadelphia in 7, honestly. But Joel Embiid is not healthy. So we don't know the type of Joel Embiid that we're going to see in the playoffs. If he's some miracle man and he goes into the playoffs with just like maybe a week and a half of NBA regular season games after a knee surgery and he looks like his old Joel Embiid self, then that's going to be crazy. But more likely he's going to look very rusty. So that's another team that we didn't really have to worry about. So Milwaukee, Philadelphia, Miami is always in the background lurking, so they're just someone that just always has to be respected at all times. But I just feel like this year it was kind of for the taking. We're not sure if Miami is going to have another Cinderella run. Jimmy Butler, we don't know if he's gonna have another Jimmy Jordan type playoffs. All in all, it's just this season was really up for the taking, and I really truly believe that we could have made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. And if we had a healthy team going up against the Boston Celtics, my heart would have said Knicks in 7. Now, my mind might have said something different, but I'm only going to speak to you guys from what my heart says. Now, all roads look like it's pointing towards us facing the Orlando Magic in the first round. With Julius Randle officially being out for the rest of the season, the rest of the postseason, we're going to be going up against a really tough Orlando Magic team. Orlando Magic, they're young, they're athletic, they like to get up and down the court, and they are playing with nothing to lose. If they lose in the first round, nobody's going to really make a big fuss about it. If they win in the first round, it's going to be the best season that the Orlando Magic had in I don't know how long. And of course, Jalen Brunson is going to have a lot of the responsibility on his shoulders. We know Josh Hart is going to come to play. We know Dante DiVincenzo is going to come to play. But OG Anunoby, we don't know what his health status is. If we had a healthy OG Anunoby, I would take Knicks in 6, honestly. But we still don't know if OG Anunoby is even going to play in the postseason. Like I said earlier in the video, the reports are just coming out saying that he might play a game or 2 or 3 before the playoffs actually start. So we don't know exactly what kind of OG Anunoby we're going to see, if we're going to see him at all. If OG Anunoby is out for the rest of the season and we only have a starting 5 of Brunson, Hart, Dante, Deuce, Isaiah Hartenstein, and the 4th I can't really think of right now at the top of my head. But I don't know, man. I'm going to take Knicks in 7. But again, my heart says Knicks in 7, but my mind might be saying something different. I can see Orlando Magic giving us a run for our money, and not just only that, I can see them winning the first round and getting past us. So this Julius Randle news, it really has a lot of ripple effects for what could have been and also what it's going to look like from here on out. What could have been, it could have been Eastern Conference Finals. And now with Julius Randle out, it looks like we're going to be in a really tough series with the Orlando Magic in the first round. But that's it for today's video, guys. I want to say thank you for checking it out. Leave it in the comments and let me know what you guys think about the Knicks' effort tonight against the Sacramento Kings, getting that W by the score of 120-109. And also, leave it in the comments and let me know what you guys think about the Julius Randle news. Are we okay moving forward? Are we still going to get past the first round if we play the Orlando Magic, which it looks like we will? But until next time, guys, you guys know the drill. You guys know the vibes. Taj Gibson for president. even though he's on the Detroit Pistons. Jalen Brunson for all the MVPs. And I got to shout my guy out. Deuce is loose for co-MVP. But until next time, guys, I'll check you out later. Peace.